Okay, so after my recent visit to Fårup Sommerland here on the opening day and media day as well for Phoenix, where I finally got to ride that for the first time, I am finally ready to give you my actual official ranking of all 8 roller coasters here in Fårup Sommerland. I got to re-ride pretty much all the coasters except for Fårup.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
But I remember that pretty well. Anyway, Fårup Sommerland is one of, if not the best theme park in Denmark, and it has a fantastic little coaster collection for a country like us. The fact that it even has 8 roller coasters is a pretty high standard, I think. And honestly, they have a great variety. In fact, I think this is a park that covers pretty much everything they need to cover when it comes to coasters. They really don't have any empty spots when it comes to what kind of coasters they have. It's pretty incredible.
Wow.
So I'm gonna give you my countdown of the top 8 roller coasters here. You might not agree with me, that's totally fine, because of course I want to hear your list down in the comments below if you have one, or just what you think of the rides beforehand. We're gonna start off with, of course, Pinsvin. This is a small Zamperla family coaster, a Gravity 80 STD model. I just love coasters with STDs.
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
This coaster's okay. It's not a very special kiddie coaster. It has a nice location and a cute front car, and it's good for kids because it has both a drop and a downward helix. When it comes to adults like me, it's not that incredibly good because it's not the most comfortable of coasters at all. There are definitely better kiddie coasters out there, but it's also not terrible. At number 7 is Mine Expressen. This is a classic Vekoma junior coaster, the pretty standard 335 meter layout. It's not a very special family coaster. It has a nice location and some nice theming as well, but it still happens to be a short ride with some pretty uninteresting elements. The drop is fun in the back, granted, and it has a very short moment of positive forces that I did not remember. But still, I mean, this is a great upgrade, of course, for kids who want to get into slightly larger roller coasters before they move on to other stuff. But yeah, still, it's just a regular family coaster that doesn't really do anything special.
This fucking sucks.
At number 6 is Flagermusen. This is a Reversion spinning coaster. This is the original layout as well. This is a sketchy ride, but it's also incredibly crazy. It starts out with a decent wild mouse section, some nice laterals, some really fun drops as well, and then it gets to the spinning portion in the second half, and the spinning portion is fucking insane. I've never tried a spinning coaster that spins this fucking fast. It's kind of crazy and very, very chaotic. And if you're a guy like me who easily gets nauseous by spinning rides, it might even be able to spin so fast that you don't become nauseous anymore, which makes no fucking sense, but that's what happened to me. But it still is a spinning coaster, and I'm not really a fan of spinning coasters because I'm a loser, I know.
Why are you running?
And that's why I don't have it any higher on my list, but granted, this can still provide a pretty fun ride. At number 5 is Sound. This is a Vekoma family boomerang, and it's a pretty unique layout because it's an out and back with a bunch of twisted bunny hills. It is the 238 meter Spirit layout, which is the same as Light Explorers in Energylandia. Sound has a great setting with the water and the woods around it and the pathways and a tunnel as well. The bunny hills all give plenty of weaker floater airtime, and then it has the great spike, which gives a very fun pop of floater airtime. The tunnel even has some laterals, which are also very fun, and then the back trip is just relaxing. The back trip doesn't really do anything. I'm not the biggest fan of going backwards on coasters. It can get me a bit sick for some reason, but I still think this is a great upgrade from Mine Expressen. Now we're already getting into the elite territory in this park with Orkanen, which is a Vekoma suspended family coaster. This is the 453 meter layout, which is the more intense variant. This is a great introduction for kids to a more thrilling ride experience. Not only is it beautiful and it has a great location, this ride also provides a solid amount of positive forces. The first half is very thrilling. It has a great drop, a very powerful overbank, and a really good helix. And then after the pacing killer itself, this outer bank,
Fuck you! Fuck you!
it goes into a slightly slower but still fun second half that is much more family friendly. This is how to do a suspended family coaster, Intamin. This is a very good thrill for everyone, still far from too extreme for kids, but not boring for adults either. And number 3 is Falcon. So this is a rare SNS wooden coaster, only 3 left operating, I believe, and is also Denmark's one and only modern wooden coaster. And well, let's see how long that stays. Now Falcon is a rough piece of shit, but I still love this coaster. It has amazing, sustained, strong floater airtime. In fact, if you sit in certain seats like the front row, this airtime is even standing because you also could push forward in a very fun way. You can stand pretty much upright in the front row if you get a loose restraint, and that is easy to get as well. The drop is freaking amazing in the back row. Generally, this ride just has really fucking good airtime. The turns are kind of painful, and in the very back row, I do get a nasty headache after this ride.
He needs some milk.
But if I just stay away from the back and stay in the front, which is my favorite seat, this is a really good wooden roller coaster, and I very much enjoy it. At number 2 is Luna. This is a classic Gerstlauer launch coaster, the 540 model. This predecessor to the Infinity coaster is parted into 3 sections. You have the first section, which has a very powerful launch as well as some amazing airtime moments. Then you have the second sections with some inversions, one of which are very good, and then the third section, which is a bunch of turns with a bit of laterals and some good positive forces. The ride is a little rough, but it's really nothing bad. Overall, it's a very powerful ride. It has the strongest airtime in the park, a really good layout. If it breaks in the first mid-course, the pacing is kind of ruined. But otherwise, this is a fast, fun ride that really has a little bit of everything, and is still one of the best coasters in Denmark. And finally, at number 1, you probably expected this already. This is Phoenix, the brand new Vekoma MK1101 Wildcat model. Now, this isn't the most intense Vekoma looping coaster. Everyone agrees that this is not as intense as Lek coaster, but I still think this is a masterpiece of a ride. It has incredible variety of elements with fantastic pacing in between. It has 13 moments of airtime, good floater, really fun flojector, and great ejector airtime as well. Most of the ride is ejector airtime. It has an unbelievable first drop, and while it does focus on airtime, it still has some fantastic inversions that all feel very different. Hang time, whip, and a fun concept. While it definitely does need to warm up before it brings its full potential, this is a fantastic thrill coaster for adults, and it's not too extreme for kids either. People call it a family thrill, and while I would definitely say this is the thrill coaster, without a doubt, it makes sense because it's very family friendly as well, as it's not something super extreme, and yet it's far from boring. It's an absolute success. That is my ranking of the 8 roller coasters in Fårup Sommerland. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let me know if you have some thoughts on this.
Know your fucking place.
Or a list of your own for that matter. I definitely do think by now that this park has the best coaster collection in the country, and most of their coasters are really good for what they are. All I have left to say is thanks for watching, boys and gals, and bye!